All right, this is A.APR.1 Algebra, Arithmetic with Polynomials and Rational Expressions 1, Video 2. Here we are multiplying polynomials. A few terms to know. I think you already have these in your journal, but if you don't, please copy them down and define them. Today we are finding the product of these polynomials, and what we have here is a monomial x, mono meaning one, multiplied, because it's touching this parenthesis, so multiplied by this binomial on the inside, 7x squared plus 4. And if you think about it mathematically, the variables are representing some number from the number line. And if I have a number that's touching a parenthesis, we know that we use the property called distributive property. And we're going to do the same thing here, even though we have this variable representation. So let's use the distributive property to find out what the product is here. So that means we're going to take x, multiply it by our first term, and x multiplied by our second term. And I'm going to do that kind of off to the side on my paper here. So if I take x, multiply it by 7x to the second power, I'm going to get some answer. And then I'm going to take x again and multiply it by the second term, which was positive 4, and I'm going to get some kind of answer. Now let's do that math right now. If I have 1x, remember that coefficient, if it's invisible, there's nothing there, we call it a 1. So 1 times 7 is 7, and x to the first power multiplied by x to the second power. Since our bases are the same and we have a product, we are to add those exponents up. We've learned that before. So x to the first times x to the second is x to the 1 plus 2, which is cubed. All right, now the second one, we have 1x times 4, or since we have, we can commute these numbers, switch them in multiplication. That really means 4 multiplied by x, which is 4x, positive. Now, looking at these terms, in the last video we learned how to combine like terms by looking at the exponential values of each of these terms, and the only way we can put them together is if they have the same exponent power, and they don't. So we're going to have a binomial answer here when it's all said and done. We take our 7x to the third power, and look at our sign, it was a positive 4x, final answer. All right, now we have a binomial multiplied by a trinomial. So there's a little bit more work involved here, and we're actually going to take the distributive property 2 separate times. We're going to take this first term x and distribute it inside the trinomial, and then we're going to take this constant 2 and we're also going to distribute it inside of the trinomial. So there's going to be a little bit more work on this. Same process though. So let's take our first term x, multiply it by our first term, which is x to the second power. That's going to get an answer. Take x, multiply it by our positive 2x, so x times positive 2x. And then x multiplied by the last term, which is 1. So x multiplied by 1, and that's going to get an answer. Now we're going to take that second term called 2 and distribute it. So let's take that positive 2 and multiply it by x squared. We're going to get an answer to that. Positive 2 times 2x. Sometimes I like to put the symbols in there just to remind me of what the answers might be in terms of multiplying integers. And then let's take that last positive 2 and multiply it by positive 1. And that's going to get me some answer. So let's go ahead and simplify all these or solve them. All right, that's going to get us x to the third. This is going to get us positive 2x squared. 1 times x is positive 1x. 2 times x squared is positive 2x squared. And then I have positive 4x, and then plain old constant positive 2. All right, so we need to go and find all of the terms that are like so that I can put them together. All right, x to the third power stands by itself. It doesn't have any partners. It looks like I have a couple of x to the second powers. I have positive 2 of them and another positive 2. So if I put those together, I will have a positive 4 of them. All right, let's use a different color here. X to the first power, I have 1 of them, and I also have positive 4 of them. So positive 1 and positive 4 will get me positive 5x. And then I'm looking for the constants that are left over, and I only have a positive 2 and no partner. Okay, so we have a final answer of that very large polynomial. All right, now we have a binomial multiplied by a binomial. We can actually use the same process here. If you want to do a little further research, I know our textbook and some other videos that are made out there, and I learned this method called the FOIL. I'm not going to be teaching it on this video, but I can show you in class. That's called the FOIL method. But let's just continue with what I've been showing you here. So we're going to distribute twice. All right, so 3k multiplied by 4k and 3k multiplied by 9. Negative 1 multiplied by 4k and negative 1 multiplied by positive 9. All right, quickly simplify this. It's going to get us 12k squared. What do we have? 27k. Then we have negative 4k and negative 9. Combine our like terms. We only have 12k to the second power. And now we're going to combine positive 27 with a negative 4. So if you put those two together, it's like saying 27 and negative 4, or 27 plus negative 4 will get us a positive 23k to the first, and then our constant of negative 9. Okay, final answer. In your journal, I'd like you to define the given terms if you haven't already. Write a few sentences on what you've learned. Write down any questions as we always do. Bring those questions to class, and we'll start solving some of these problems together.